¿Qué está pasando, Peñita? ¿Cómo estáis? Saludos, saludos, saludos. Vamos un segundo. ¿Se me oye bien? Parece que sí, ¿no? ¿Qué pasa, gente? ¿Cómo estáis? Welcome to the club. A ver, esto funciona. Yes. Papá, que llevo mucho tiempo sin tocar el OBS. Vale, perfecto. ¿Qué pasa, gente? Se ve bien. Perfecto, perfecto. Últimamente el OBS me está haciendo cosas raras. Me acuerdo hace una semana y pico. Y se paraba el stream todo el rato, tío. Estoy mirando a ver el bitrate y todo el rollo, pero bueno, una vez ya empezada la emisión ya complicated. Pero de momento parece que va bien. Así que nada, bueno, people, vamos a jugar disco LaS. Juega RAL, un juego RAL increíble. Eso sí, te tiene que gustar leer. Lo he retransmitido un par de veces, pero lo he estado jugando mucho por las noches a mi rollo y tal, sin hacer stream. Y yo creo que estamos cerquita al final, a ver si lo acabamos hoy, no lo sé, pero tiene toda la pinta. Así que dame un segundo, voy a cambiar esto, el tamaño de los diálogos, porque yo lo he estado jugando en la pantalla grande, ¿vale? Y yo creo que nada más, ahí está. Ahí le da a continuar, tenía que haberle dado a cargar partida, porque creo que me metí ayer en un jaleo. Vamos a ver. Si carga desde ayer por la noche que jugué, nada, media orilla. Sí. Perfecto. Vale. Se supone que tenemos que ir a la nueva isla esta que ha aparecido. Y al islote de la bahía, tal vez hay un bote en la aldea pesquera en la costa. Pregunta allí. ¿Usa el esquife de la redera? Vale. Esto no me dejaba hacerlo. No sé por qué lo voy a intentar otra vez. A ver. Y nos deja aquí. En la quimineta.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Hemos sufrido un ataque, repito, el teniente Kim Kisunagi y yo.
Something is wrong. Only
No me deja.
No reply. Only the mindless
Vale, o sea que esto sigue bloqueado.
crawling through the air.
It's been this way for a while now. My guess is the Union is listening in on our conversations and jamming outward communications to protect themselves from Crenel. It only happens when someone mentions the attack. The rest is unaffected. Our best bet is to carry on like nothing happened. That is, if we don't want us cut off the grid completely.
Se ve bien esto, ¿no? Sí, vale, perfecto.
Silence.
Pues nada, no podemos hacer nada. Vámonos. Vámonos, let's go. Voy a mirar a ver si tengo... Ah, no, las balas las gastamos antes de ayer, las dos que tenían nada más que en el juego. Tampoco esto es un juego de pegar tiros. Y de verdad, jugar Disco Elysium. O sea, va a llevar un rato acabarlo, como a mí. Mucho texto. Pero si os gusta este tipo de juegos, tío... A mí es que me picó mucho por el tema de estar con la investigación del asesinato, del ahorcado. Yo seguía ahí, pin, y cuando acababa de jugar decía, joder, quiero seguir. Quiero que llegue ya mañana para seguir a ver, investigando, a ver qué pasa con el tema de... O sea, está muy guay, tío. Está muy, muy guapo. Y luego me enrollé a hacer cosas secundarias y demás, pero que te vienen bastante bien para la investigación. Y el juego, si te mola las cosas así detectivescas y los puntos que tiene, lo de meterte speed, el alcohol y todo eso, o sea, es de locos. Ya. Y lo bonito que es, el juego. Pinta como con acuarela, tío. No sé si puedo comprar aquí.
I doubt it, but I can.
The pawn
Creo que no voy a
broker's gaze
poder.
is already fixed on the dancing colors.
No, no se puede aquí comprar. A ver, digo, a lo mejor tiene balas este por alguna casualidad. Pero va a ser que no. Pim, 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 pim. El juego es básicamente como si fuera casi una novel graphic. Y es un juego de rol puro, de estilo de los de antaño, de tirar los dados. Pero a ver, en videojuego, ¿no? Pero de tirar los dados, lápiz y papel, o sea, pues es eso. Yo creo que ya estamos llegando al final. No sé por qué me sale el círculo otra vez. Se supone que tenemos que coger la barca.
Be careful out there. Sea's calm as death, but still. There are ruins underwater. That won't be a problem. It's wind still and the tide just dried.
Esto yo creo que este diálogo ya lo tuve ayer.
We've got 2 days of relative sunshine ahead.
Así que nada, ahora que nos llevaremos estos jefes para ir.
Please be conservative with the fuel, will you? Just filled her up, but it's a small tank.
Ok. Let's go. Vámonos para allá.
The skiff floats on the calm mirror of the sea. Its two
Se supone que
seats
el
are empty.
asesino debería de estar en la isla. No sabemos quién es porque, bueno, si me pongo a contaros la historia es una cosa súper camboleja. No puedo haceros un resumen ni de coña. ¿Vale? Pero básicamente, como puedes elegir varias opciones y te pueden pasar diferentes cosas, es de locos explicaroslo.
Once you get in, that's it. One pull of the starter handle. and
Una
you're
vez
off
suba
into
no habrá
the
marcha atrás.
A
Es que me lo
strange
estaba oliendo
sensation
esto.
comes over you. Are you sure you want to go?
De que va a ser el final. Tiene toda la pinta.
Have you made all the necessary preparations? Closed all your accounts?
Yo creo que sí.
Remember what the net picker said. It's a small tank.
Vamos a poder
You
ir
won't
venir
be
con
going
esto,
back
¿vale?
and forth on this.
Controla todo el esquife, Kim. Yo llévale el magnetófono.
What?
¿Qué de qué? Como si no vamos a petarlo con Tristón FM de camino a la isla.
Fine. Let's blast Sad FM then.
Ok. Montarte y navegar hasta la isla. Let's go. Esto tiene pinta de que vamos para el final, ¿eh? Ah, que se ha puesto el radiocasete. El loco. Esto va dirigido solo.
Want to be free. Want to
Uy, un temazo, ¿no?
it will last forever.
La verdad que el juego me gusta mucho, tío. Te pica muchísimo.
Want to
A seguir investigando y llegar al final. He muerto unas cuantas veces. Y las selecciones que hay pues te cambian básicamente lo que va a ser el final, ¿no? Aunque puedes llegar y que tu final sea que te maten, ¿sabes? Como me ha pasado a mí, pero yo quería llegar al final, entonces cargaba partida. No sé dónde vamos realmente porque el mapa es esto, ahí está la zona de la iglesia. Se supone que hay una isla más para allá, que no se llega a ver mucho. Es muy bonito, tío, el juego, o sea que... Y te ríes como cosa loca. O sea, tiene unas cosas el pibe... Lo que pasa es que es un juego muy difícil de streamear, es mucho de esto, entonces dije, lo voy a jugar a mi rollo muchas veces. Al final la mayor parte lo juego a mi rollo. He streameado 3 o 4 veces el juego. Pero es muy difícil de streamearlo, tío. Mucho texto, es un juego para estar leyendo todo el rato. Como si estuvieras leyendo un libro de los de... ¿Cómo se llamaban? Los de Elige tu propia aventura, pues igual. Creo que va a estar aquí, está al lado, claro. No se podía llegar andando. Tan, 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 tan. Ahí hay como petróleo o algo, ¿no? ¿Qué es esto? Es como unas ruinas. Espero que no me metan un strike por esta canción, tío.
The boat comes to a slow stop. The lieutenant turns the engine off. In the silence, a sputter of wings. A flock of quails takes off in a distance. Let's go.
Vámonos para allá. Ve a la isla, tarea actualizada, ok. Vale. Esta está completada. Se me ha quedado alguna activa por aquí. Del martes se encuentra el arma del crimen. Que no la encontramos, loco. Porque no me subí lo de coordinación ojo-mano. Lo de los pantalones del cuno también. Encuentro todas las piezas de armadura. Me falta una pieza, tío. Determina el origen del disparo. Esto ahora, ¿de dónde vino? Habrá que echar un vistazo a unos cuantos sitios. Y esto igual, no me deja utilizar la radio del coche ahora, no sé. Un puente improvisado. El bombardeo fue tan intenso que destrozó los cimientos. La cadena oxidada se pierde en el océano.
The chain trails off into the ocean, connecting the island to the supply depot on the coast.
La cadena se pierde en el océano. Conecta el islote con el depósito de suministros en la costa. Señala, eso lleva al depósito de Finisterre.
Yes, so it seems.
¿Para qué crees que se
For
utilizaba?
bringing munitions to the island, maybe? And supplies? You could also lock the bay when you raise the chain.
As a defensive measure, lock it off that side of the bay.
Ok. Bloquearla para
From
quién.
enemies of the commune of Revachol. This sea fort was a revolutionary fortification, I believe.
Ok. Ahora vamos por aquí. Creo que lo voy a hacer cliqueando mejor. Aunque me gusta mucho moverlo con el AvD. Pero estos neumáticos se caen a pedazos. Tienen al menos 50 años. Vale, para acá no podemos, sí. A ver. Ok. Vale, ahí hay una puertecica. Vamos a ver qué hay por acá. Hay un rastro persistente de mazut en el aire. Ah, está cayendo desde aquí, lo de los bidones. Un poco de combustible se ha escapado del barril, es negro y viscoso. Atención, inflammable. Vale, por lo que veo ahí hay una salida o una entrada. Aquí abajo hay otra, pero no se puede pasar. Aquí nos está dando un pensamiento, a
The dry
ver.
grass crackles under your feet as you stop. Far away, birds' wings touch the still surface of the sea. The flock of
¿Qué es ese
quail
aleteo?
departs. Now more than 100 meters away, 102, On the islet, there is almost no wind, just the light movement of air through the reeds. Bulrushes swaying on the waterline, long dried leaves chafing against each other. The great ghost of the air is holding its breath.
Vale, vamos a ver al
A
oeste.
silent hiss, sea air moving through the needles of a pine tree.
Al este.
The faraway roar of the city, distant like today's dream. Before it, the sound of sand, the low tide filtered through its grains, a bird tending to its feathers.
Al
A low
frente.
hum. The air slowly moves through a concrete box, through its ancient slits and cracks, resonating, hollow. A big building.
Más allá, más al
Air
norte.
flows out of a pillbox window. There is very little there. The air cossets flowers on a meadow. Absolute silence. Reeds motionless. Bulrushes motionless.
Debajo del
Col
silencio.
de Mamadakwa.
Coño, el coldo mamá me da cuá.
Yes?
This is where a lesser man would stop to think about the pain shooting up his right leg and into his groin. Not
Vale, a ver,
you.
qué silenciosa
You're
es esta
concentrating
isla. ¿Te has
on
dado cuenta
how.
de lo silenciosa que está todo? Hay un silencio de la hostia en esta isla. Hay un silencio de la hostia en esta
It
isla.
is. Is that why we are stopping?
Lo es, por eso nos hemos detenido. Ajá, espera, tengo que escuchar una cosa más.
The lieutenant nods in
Nada, vámonos,
silence.
abrir los ojos y dejar de escuchar. Listo, aquí no hay nada más que rascar. En el barril pone MCI, tiene dibujado una estrella con pequeñas manchitas. A ver. No hay manera de subir, ya no hay escaleras. Ok. Reconoces el pequeño abedul, es el que viste por el visor a monedas. Vale. Aquí hay otra puerta. Vamos a entrar por aquí a ver. No me voy a equipar ni las pistolas ni nada porque es que no tengo balas. O sea, no puedo hacer nada. Gastamos los 2 tiros el otro día que teníamos. Ya, ¿qué es esto? Claro, una de esta antiartillería, ¿no? Parece. Antiartillería. ¿Un cañón de artillería o qué es esto? A ver. What the fuck is this?
An old cylindrical
Generador de
generator is
microredes.
nested above the ammo lift, with makeshift electrical wiring running out of its side and across the floor. The cables disappear into the wall. The lieutenant puts his hand on the metal barrel, checking for warmth.
It's cold now, but someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired.
Han reparado el cableado, hostias. Verter combustible en el tanque.
The lieutenant assists.
Ah,
Lee,
claro, que tenía la
holding
lata
the
de
canister up
combustible.
to the fuel tank
Ah,
as
para
you
el
tilt.
barco.
Dark brown, viscous fluid pours out, and the room fills with. There's a red starter switch on the side of the cylinder and a start rope on the other side. The
Pierde la
lieutenant
cuerda.
flicks. The recoil start wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an old waltz
Hostia.
before settling down to a rattle.
That should do it.
Tarea secreta completada. Encuentra combustible para el generador. Ok. Eso debería servir. ¿A dónde llevan esos cables?
Downstairs, somewhere.
Alguna parte, escaleras abajo, ok. Golpear el lateral.
The tank is far from full, but there should be enough inside to keep it going for a day.
Ok. Pues por menos mal que tenía la lata esta, chaval. A ver. Mira la... No, pero está... A ver, ¿qué es esto? Libro, la mayoría fantastique y de ficción histórica, ok. Plato manchador de salsa y fuego, una cocina de superviviente. Uy, aquí está desde donde pegaron el tiro, yo creo. Mano. Camiseta Robert de The Fall. +1 coordinación humana. Vale. A ver. Pa, pa, pa. Uf, es que llevo la coraza, ¿eh? Me voy a dejar la coraza. Puesta, tío.
There's a greasy old spring mattress in the corner, resting on piles of soft cover books. White linen and a pillow are visible under a worn-out caracal blanket.
Someone has been squatting here. The linen is fresh, recently washed.
You force the rest of the sentence out through pain, thick as molasses, no longer able to hear yourself speak.
You know, officer, you can rest here if you are feeling tired. I will keep watch. You could use some rest for what's ahead.
Me vendría bien descansar un poco para la que se nos avecina, vale. Bueno, quiero hacer una cabezadita, 1 hora sí. Vale, vamos a dormir porque nos va a subir... Nos van a dar un poco de experiencia. Vale.
You face the concrete wall. There's less light there, in the dark corner. Like a dog, you lie there. You didn't realize how tired you were. Your body is still nowhere near healed.
Del tiraco que le metieron.
The blanket feels cold. The entire room does. Concrete and cold. Minutes pass. Half an hour maybe. The sounds of the sea beyond grow distant. Your eyelids close until you feel yourself standing up in the darkness, right next to the mattress. Slowly, the world begins to hatch from the blackness. It's evening.
It's early.
Sleep.
Espero que no haya pasado nada raro. Por no haber guardado. Ahora se han cargado el kim o algo. What? Despierta, men. Hostia, ¿y el kim? Teniente se ha ido, ve afuera a la playa. No me marca la puerta, ¿por qué? Ni la puerta ni nada, loco. What? A ver. ¿Por aquí se puede bajar? No. No me marca nada ahora. De que yo pueda mirar. Ahí sí. Pero es raro, ¿sabes? Que no me deje marcar. La puerta sigue aquí cerrada, es un poco extraño, no puedes entrar. What the fuck? Pues no puedo salir, loco. Que no me marca nada. La puerta de los cojones que estaba aquí. A ver si arrimándome acá. Esto es la primera vez que me pasa, en todas las horas del game. A ver, cerrar partida. No me jodas. Que desde aquí vamos a tener que repetir esto, tío. Holy shit. Espérate, vamos a hacer una cosa. Vamos a hacer un guardado rápido. Vamos al menú principal un momento. A ver. Eso me acaba de pasar la primera vez. Autosave. Plano onírico. Ah, que estamos en plano onírico. What the hell? Como si estuviéramos a gilipollas. Claro, por eso no te deja marcar nada. Ya decía yo, digo, what? Por aquí podemos ir, vale. Ah, amigo, que aquí hay una puertecica. Pero es raro, que no me deje me... O sea, le estoy dando al tab y al cliqueo derecho del ratón y nada. O sea, no me marca nada. Súper raro. ¿Dónde está el Kim, loco? Mira, ahora sí que me ha aparecido un orbe. Hay algo en la cadena, voy hacia ella. Vamos para acá. Allí no podemos llegar. No. Derecha. Hostia, que está el Kim ahí muerto, loco. Métete en el agua ahora. Claro, está soñando. Ve sus huellas en el agua. What? Soy como Jesucristo, tío, ahora mismo. ¿Sabes?
Dolores Day, the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state turns around to face you. She has an airship airbag in her hand. She seems to be in a hurry. Okay, don't say you need to talk right away. Melt the ice first. This way you're already talking. But you don't even want to talk to her. She would only be cold and mean. Let her go. Let her go. This is the holy queen of the territories of Muindi and Insulinda. Think of the historic knowledge we could glean. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win her back.
Hostias, me queda loquísimo. Ahora.
Hey.
Esta tipa es como si fuera... En el mundo de Disco Elysium es como si fuera... ¿Cómo explicar? Como si fuera una divinidad religiosa, algo así, ¿vale? Como si fuera Jesús. O Mahoma, o el Dalai Lama, yo qué sé. Depende de la religión.
I mean, hey to you too. I'm doing really good, actually. Both professionally and romantically. I've come to a fulfilling and peaceful period in my life. Well, how are you doing, Harry?
No muy bien que digamos. Mira dónde cojones estaba el videoclub, tío. Claro, pero es que esta zona no podías llegar realmente. No muy bien, me estoy muriendo en una torre flag en ruina, mi pecho gotea sangre. Estoy en mi cabeza, te echo de menos. No muy bien que digamos.
Don't say that. I know this positive thing sounds stupid to you, Harry, but it works. We all have an obligation to be happy. You too. And you will be. Now.
¿A dónde vas?
I'm going to Morova. To live there, in Grad. It's 1 million kilometers away, Harry. Might as well be another lifetime.
¿Qué llevas en la maleta?
Just my scepter, my globe cruciger, a spare silk gown, a toothbrush,
Es una divinidad,
travel
pero muy moderna,
documents,
¿sabes?
the crown of immortality.
¿La corona de la inmortalidad no la llevas ya puesta?
Oh, this. This is just a wreath. The crown of immortality is made of rarefied light, mana and raw palladium. It was passed on to me by the rulers of late antiquity.
She looks at the suitcase, not knowing what more to say. Then, over her shoulder, silence. Her nuptial gown flows in the wind, wraps around her holy body.
Anyway.
Anyway. Tu piel es sacra y suave.
No, Harry. It's just regular skin. I'm not as beautiful as you always thought I was.
Sí que lo eres, no hay nadie tan
Let's
hermosa
not
como tú. Tienes razón, mejor no, perdón por decir eso.
She does not answer. There's that expression again. Silence. A distant wind blows. You can't think of anything pretty to say.
A ver, puedes quedarte un momento, tenemos que hablar. Aún tenemos pendiente un último duelo, uno épico.
No, Harry. No. I don't want a massive epic showdown. I want to go
Esto lo
to the
está soñando
aerodrome.
el Harry.
I have tickets for the 10:20 flight to Morova. Really? We don't have anything to talk about anymore. Every combination of words has been played out. The atoms don't form us anymore. Us. Our love. It's all gone. I have to go to the aerodrome. I have to leave Revachol and you. And you have to be alone. In hell. Forever.
Oh God, whatever you do, don't try to kiss me.
No intentes besarla
Not after
todavía.
that.
No
You're
después
still
de eso,
weak.
sigues tambaleando. Te
You're
caerás y lo
full of
intentas
trouble.
ahora. Vale. No vamos a besar a María Magdalena, ¿sabes? A ver, manipulación 97%, muy alta. Sé que aún me quieres besarla. Hostia, la superamos, o sea que se puede intentar. Te he traído esta figura del jinete Fan sin cabeza, dársela. Ah, esto era una tarea también. Vamos a dársela.
I don't want it. It looks expensive. I don't want it.
Creía que te gustaban estas figuras, pensé que te recuperaría con las figuras.
That's not what figurines do, Harry.
Pero entonces no sirven para
She
nada.
looks at the headless found rider between your fingers and doesn't know what to say.
Yo pensando que se la podía dar en la iglesia, en la vidriera, pero no me daba la opción.
The figurines don't do anything at all. But I thought the historic figure.
Me gustaban los
Sí.
juegos bélicos y las figuras.
Yes, I thought it would be good. A form of communication.
Una forma de comunicación más allá de las palabras.
Yes,
Ok.
it was a good idea. But she felt obliged by the headless found rider to give you things in return. Things she no longer wants to give you. So she refused. That's how it goes. Your figurine rider idea was naive.
Unos dados, encargó unos... No, los dados no, que los dados me hacen falta. Para las tiradas, tío. Y esta figura revolucionaria, mostrársela. Tal vez puedas aceptar esta figura revolucionaria. Tiene un pequeño mosquete.
No, please. Please don't give me anything.
A ver, y unos dados, encargué los dados,
Harry,
¿verdad?
I don't want things.
Vale,
I
nada.
want to go to the aerodrome.
Vale, pues no te di
I
cosas.
didn't ask for things. It's too late to give me anything. I would have liked these things a long time ago. The headless Fallen Rider especially.
Vale.
But now, only boring hell remains.
Ah, pero mira, la hemos completado, tarea completada. Pero ahora todo lo que queda es un aburrimiento infernal. Su caballo, como una corona, refulge con el neón rojo de la esquina. Patalea un poco para calentarse. Está refrescando bastante. A ver, puedo tirar de manipulación o... Genocida, hostias. Ni siquiera eres humana. Pero eso no pinta
It's
nada
not,
bien.
But
¿Pero qué? Dime algo bueno.
I don't know why I said but. There is no but.
Is everything?
That's it, yes. We've talked about it a million times. You will get over it, just like I did. People do.
Tienes razón, ya ni
Things
siquiera
will
me acuerdo
get
de quién
good again.
eres. Tal vez, creo que ha llegado al final de mi investigación.
See? It just takes some time. For you, I think it'll take something like 20 years, maybe. It
Pero no sé
was
por
hard
qué
for
está
me too.
soñando esto realmente, el pibe.
I used to think I couldn't live without you. But I can.
It's not. It's just not possible. It's like eating rocks.
Madre mía, 20 años es muchísimo
You just
tiempo.
can't do it.
Así que una vez sentiste eso, que no podrías vivir sin mí. No puedo ni con todas mis fuerzas, es como comer piedra, no tiene por qué ser así, podríamos volver a intentarlo. Pues vale, todo perfecto, hay otras cosas que necesito saber. No puedo ni con todas mis fuerzas, es como comer piedra,
There
¿sabes?
is a silence. She looks at you, then over her shoulder, then corrects the wreath on the dome of her forehead. As you talk, it feels like chewing on gravel.
Este juego es increíble, o sea, la
granite,
verdad. Si
steel
tenéis el
bars.
tiempo y tenéis tiempo, a mí me ha llevado bastante. Si estamos en el final, que no lo sé, yo me imagino que sí. Pero es... tiene una narrativa, tío, que es increíble. No tiene por qué ser así, podríamos volver a intentarlo. Sí que una vez sentiste eso, que no podías vivir sin mí.
Yes,
Sí, pero eso ya pasó.
but that time is gone
Hace
now.
mucho tiempo.
So very gone.
20 años es muchísimo
Yes.
tiempo.
It only took me 1 year, maybe 2. Phew.
No tiene por qué ser así, podríamos volver a intentarlo,
No,
proceder.
Harry, we can't.
¿Por
We
qué?
already tried again, and it didn't work.
Ok.
Is that how it is now? We should just try all good things twice and then give up. By that logic, not you too.
¿Qué es lo que falló aquella vez? Puedo hacerlo mejor.
I don't know. Please.
Vale. Pues nada, vale, ahora tengo otras preguntas que
I
hacerte.
can't answer your other questions, Harry. Not anymore. I have to go.
A ver, me da la impresión de que no eres Dolores Day.
I don't know what you mean. Dolores Day?
No parece que quieras saber nada de ese misterio. Eres señalarte la cabeza. El luto. Bien pensado, eres Dolores Day, reina regente de los territorios de Munde, Insulindia y nada más. ¿Eres tú la ex algo?
Wasn't I Dolores Day just a second ago? Now I'm the X thing? You're confusing me. Look, I have to be at the Lausanne aerodrome at 10:20 p.m. I still have a light rail to catch. I haven't even bought the tickets yet.
Vale. Tenía que haberme quedado abajo, tenía que haberme hundido aún más hondo a un lugar en el que no te hubiera conocido porque es imposible conocer gente en el fondo del abismo. Me alegro de poder tener esta conversación, me está ayudando a cerrar el círculo.
I'm glad too. but
Vamos
I
a
have to
elegir
go.
esa.
My friends are waiting for me on the platform. I can't let them wait. It's impolite.
What?
Watch. ¿Sabes lo que es de mala educación condenar a un inspector teniente de la milicia ciudadana de Rebachol a la perdición eterna? Ven a tus amigos por decirle hola de mi parte. Esto es grotesco.
I will.
Vale.
1,000 times you've beaten animal. 1,000 times you've raised that fabric. What is underneath has always calmed you, centered you.
Dame un segundo, voy a abrir un momento la ventana.
Sane.
Vale. A ver. ¿Eres tú señalarte la cabeza al luto?
The morning. I don't understand.
Estoy como de luto, estoy sufriendo como si te hubieras muerto.
Oh my god, Harry, stop. I don't want to hear anything about the morning. Mourning someone who's still alive. Any of that. I can't do that anymore. I'm not 80 years old, I'm 32. People my age are not supposed to mourn.
Ok.
This is a bit much for me. It feels like your ribs are cracking around your heart.
Creo que me va a dar un infarto. Frotarte el pecho y gemir.
The advisor to the Queen of Sorrents sighs and looks down at the crumbling asphalt. There is nothing she can do about your chest pain.
Bien pensado, eres Dolores Day, reina regente de los territorios de Mundo, Insulindia y nada más. Concluir.
Yes, Harry. I am. Things have gotten much better for me, now that I am the ruler of the known world. Oh God, it's already so late. I have to go, Harry.
A tiny golden watch with red straps around her bony...
Genocida. Ni siquiera eres humana.
I am actually very ordinary, Harry. Below this gown and wreath, I have an ordinary soul and ordinary thoughts. The only thing inhuman about me is this. This thing you've made me into. I'm sorry for saying so, but I just hate it. What is this? This is so far gone, Harry. I don't even...
No eres especial, tenías pulmones brillantes. De acuerdo, no forzaré las cosas. Tengo otras preguntas.
My lungs do not glow, Harry. I am just like all the others. None of us have
Todavía puedo hacer
glowing
que brillen tus
lungs.
pulmones.
Stop making me into some kind of...
No te lo mereces.
It is. And it's making me late for my beautiful, beautiful flight to Morova. Far, far away from you and Rivershaw.
A warm gust wraps her gown around her waist and between her thighs. All the roads will miss her footsteps when she's gone from here. A completely different world.
Quiero volver a ese mundo completamente diferente, el mundo que trasluce contigo. No decir nada, te echo tanto de menos. No decir nada.
The gown moves on her limbs like water.
Vale, vamos a intentar esta tirada. La vamos a... Está en 97%, o sea...
You're running out of ideas.
De sobra, tenemos manipulación 9, loco. La va a dar un kiss. La que se cae al suelo.
With your feet trembling from the steps you took, tepid and fearful, you stand against her, her body close to you, radiating warmth. With your eyes closed, you move your lips on her mouth. She is not kissing you back.
Fría plata contra mi frente, apretar su muñeca, mover la boca. Pero si lo logré.
This was not about failure or success. This was always going to be horror. I should not have suggested it, and you should not have listened to me.
Me encantan los diálogos que tiene en su cabeza, propiamente los de manipulación y todo eso. O sea, está logradísimo, tiene el juego. Siento su aliento.
Her chest rising like a pillow, warm exhalations against the side of your mouth, her tender soul moving through her lungs.
Mejilla contra la mía.
Feels like soft fuzz, a bird covered in down feathers, brushing against your broken capillaries.
Fría plata contra mi
The
frente.
delicate wreath on her forehead pressing into your temple. The silver is cold from the spring evening air.
Apretar su muñeca.
Her hand does not return the grip. Her body
Oh, que te está
is
haciendo la
rigid.
cobra, Harry.
A current of unease courses through it. Distrust. For you. The curve of her spine. Her shoulders hunched. She keeps herself
No
stiff.
ves la boca.
Her center guarded from your motions. Unresponsive to your guidance. Nothing, just pillows against you. Unresponsive, but for the taste of apricots.
Ok. No me estás devolviendo el beso.
The moment is ending. She is going to move her face away from yours.
Se jodió.
Trying hard not to look at you. When she withdrew and you held on to her hand, she tried not to look at your face and see the expression there. Brother, you should put me in front of a firing squad. I have no words for how I failed you.
¿Por qué no me devuelves el beso?
Why did you do that to yourself? You know I don't cheat, Harry. I never cheated on you.
Venga, ya está, entonces ya está. No,
No,
me voy a enrollar
Harry.
con esto.
Not yet. There is one more thing you have to see. I'm pregnant.
What? What? Tragar.
You know what this means? Of course not. I terminated yours. Don't you remember? You poor
Joder, chaval.
poverty-stricken fuck.
Necesitado de mierda.
Now, go ahead. Ask me more questions. Let's talk about something else.
Vale, continúa.
No, this has to end. Do the last one.
The
More
last one.
questions. Ask
Cuestión.
more.
Pero dijiste que mi alma es inmensa y que siempre volverías a ella.
We both said a lot of things. We were very young.
It was her. I can feel it. I can see it in her tender long fingers, in her wrists. Her hand wrote it, said those things.
En realidad no lo dijiste, lo escribiste en una carta escrita a mano, la llevo junto con mis documentos.
As Queen Regnant, I write a lot of letters.
A ver, ya sabes lo que quiero decir. Me dejaste una carta que decía que siempre volverías a mí, que no podías creer lo feliz que eras conmigo. Lo tengo aquí mismo, deja que te refleje la memoria, vayamos de pausa amarga. Viaje por la autopista del recuerdo, empezar a recitar. Resumir.
Okay, Harry. Okay, it was morning and you slept. The room smelled of cigarettes and Rowans. There was hoarfrost on the ground when I left. It was autumn, the first one we had together. But you have to understand, it was 1,000,000 years ago. No, it was 100 million years ago. I was someone else then, filled to the brim with love for you, hanging on your every word. Oh, Harry, you were the coolest. But I'm no longer that person. This has taken her place. It will devour you. Harry, I will eat your mind.
The light of the video rental shines through her dress now. A DeLorean figure, cut in black, moves below. It's still her. Her legs, her breasts, her hips.
Camino del viajero, conozco ese lugar, ¿dónde está?
It's here, Harry. We are on Voyager Road. At the end of it, 300 meters from the stop. We used to come here to rent
Joder, pero
videos.
esto es casi del principio del juego, cuando coges la idea esa de dónde está tu casa.
There. You could not pay the electrical bill. It became a lightless tomb. The years you spent training for the militia, my parents' money, It was not good.
Surely the alcohol didn't help either.
El alcohol tampoco, seguro que tampoco ayudaba. Bebíamos.
Everyone has a little glass of wine every now and then. I certainly do. It's a queen regnant thing. I don't think it was the alcohol. It was inevitability.
See? If you drank with her, you'd be cool again. If you drank with her, you could have sex on alcohol.
Vale. Yo era el mejor.
The coolest. With your leather jacket and your boot-cut pants. Smoking in the bus stop. I wanted you to be the rest of my life that day. And you were. Some of it, at least. You were my first. My first kiss. My first time to have sex. The first and worst time I fell in love. I will always have that with me. It's a fact. But that is all it is. It's like a ticket stub, Harry. It doesn't do anything anymore.
Un billete picado, a ver.
Yes, let's talk about that too. Let's bring it up, the zoo. In Le Jardin, the day we went east of the river, to the aquarium first, I was sad about my mother. I don't even know why. The shimmer of the fish tank on my face, the octopuses. It was just a day then, but to think.
Lo bueno que nos estamos comiendo toda esta chapa, pero vamos ganando
You
puntos
could
de
touch
experiencia,
my
aunque
hair,
ya estamos casi al final
kiss me.
del game.
Talk to me about anything. Go virtually anywhere in the world. Not like now. Now our interactions are limited to pain and regret.
No podrías volver a ser una persona que eras, lo veo en ti, bajo el vestido y la diadema.
And my crown of immortality?
No.
You scared her out of me. With your crying, the awful time we wound up having. And the cheap rental flats you could afford. Can't you see? I can never think you're cool again. I can only think that way about new people.
Vale. ¿Y ahora qué? ¿Qué pasa ahora? ¿De qué más vamos a hablar? Concluir.
Is there really anything left? If not, we can always repeat one of the things we have already talked about. Talk about it again.
Genocida.
If you do not feel like doing that, that is very contested by modern historians. Very contested. Plus,
Creo que está como soñando, pero como si fuera su mujer, la Dolores Day, que es como una especie de esto, de Jesucristo, de este juego, de, yo que sé, de Dios, de Dalai Lama, de lo que, no sé, de la religión que queréis pensar, pero en realidad aparece ella, pero está como hablando con su mujer, me da la sensación.
you're only saying this because things didn't work out between us. I have to go to the aerodrome now. I don't have time to defend myself from these accusations.
Stop making her angry. She won't start loving you again if you call her a mass murderer. Seriously.
¿Dirías que no te has comportado como una genocida conmigo? Tienes razón, lo siento, eres suave y buena, no una genocida.
I'm not that either. Can't I just be?
Ok. Pues no te vayas.
I have to, Harry. Really, I've already missed the 8:30. I'm gonna go now.
I was wrong. You don't have power over her anymore. You shouldn't have said that. I am wrong about everything.
Espera, ¿no podemos sentarnos y tomar un café antes? Hay una cafetería en la esquina, señalar hacia el este.
No. That would only be painful and dull. At the aerodrome, life, love, and laughter are waiting for me. At the cafeteria, dust, hell, and tragic comedy.
Perdón. Ay, qué me ha dado. Sorry. Ay. Un momento, que se te ha perdido a ti en Mirova.
Light, life, culture. It's so much better than here. Everything here reminds me of you and the horrible times we had. The nights we stayed up fighting for our dying love. I have to wipe it all off me and be clean again. I want to be a good person again. Not this. Not what you made me into.
Pero juré que no te dejaría ir. Tú me pediste que lo hiciera. Vale, lo entiendo. Sentir silencio como un mártir.
That was someone else. I betrayed her, overwrote her, and I'm happier for it. And I'm really going now. The time is up. I must be on the 10:20 flight.
¿Volveremos a vernos?
I won't see you.
Yo no te veré, pero tú a mí
you
sí.
will see me.
¿Cómo puede ser?
Oh, Harry. This is a dream. Can't you see? I'm already in Morova by now. Who knows how long ago this happened? A year? 2? 5 years ago?
Entonces, ¿cómo volveré a verte?
Right here, tomorrow night. Once this dream starts happening, it keeps happening. 3 times a week, at least. And Harry, it really, really looks like it started happening again. There's the video rental. I'm suffocatingly beautiful and young. And I smell of tutti frutti chewing gum, like I did that time when I asked you for forgiveness. After leaving you the first time, so long ago.
Esto me gusta.
Oh yes, this is real darkness. It's not death or war or child molestation. Real darkness has love for a face. The first death is in the heart, Harry. See you tomorrow.
Se va, se va, se va, se va, se va. Se acabó el sueño. Tía, pues una chapa de 20 minutos lo menos el sueñecito, ¿eh? Vale, aquí estamos ya. Let's go.
You're up quick. How was your sleep?
Vamos a resolver el puto caso profundo y vigorizante. Intentar ocultar en las manos la sangre que brota de ti. Este igual a palma, ¿eh? Tragarte la sangre y concluir. Peinemos toda la isla centímetro a centímetro. Es el siguiente paso en la cadena de tareas. Vamos a resolver el puto caso.
Are you sure you're okay? You thrashed around and you bolted up, half covered in blood from your wound.
Intentar ocultar con la mano la sangre que brota de ti. Limpiarte. Imitarte, escupir la sangre y volver al trabajo. Así de duro es.
Ok.
Vale. Pues vámonos. ¿Qué es esto? Velas colocadas sobre un telémetro roto. Una sábana polillada mantiene el viento a raya. Pensaba que era el este de francotirador, pero no.
Books and magazines
Material de
lie
lectura.
scattered on the floor and on a makeshift cupboard. They are not particularly well organized.
Echar una ojeada.
Most are soft covers, serialized fantastique and detective stories from the 20s and 30s. This disparate digest includes the classic Animal Adventures, among what is mostly commercial fiction and serialized stories. You find a magazine cathodique for electrical engineering. Then it's back to pulp. Light erotica, an international thriller about circuit benders.
Someone's made themselves a home.
Alguien ha hecho este sitio su hogar. El teniente especial, uno de los libros de tapa blanda. Uff. Algo inusual que destacar. 8% de abstracción. Nada, no la vamos a superar. A ver si equipándonos... Vamos a ver si podemos subir la abstracción. Nada. Empatía, nada. Vale, la chaqueta si no sube abstracción. Ok. Lógica. Mira, esto también, abstracción. Nada, nada, nada. Creo que nada más que tengo eso, ¿eh? Para subir la abstracción. Teatralidad, teatralidad. Spirit the Corpse. Nada. Vale, vamos a ver si sube algo, pero no creo que podamos hacer esta tirada, ¿eh? Que salga bien.
Soft covers, serialized
28%.
fantastic and detective stories.
Lo podemos
Animal
intentar,
Adventures, a
pero
magazine
vamos.
for electrical engineering and
Va a ser
an
que no.
international thriller. Also, not that you can
Nada,
tell,
fallida, estaba claro.
this is a digest of someone who's dead bored. Most of it is for entertainment purposes, fittingly right next to the radiola on the floor.
Nada, nada fuera de la común.
Maybe it's a little old-fashioned. There's a nude mag. More than that, you can't say. The print in some of these is pretty small, though. This person has good eyesight.
Vale. A ver. Esto es todo, ¿no? Ok. ¿Qué es esto? Creo que es un objeto. Excedente de bufanda de invierno del ejército. Más 2 de empatía, menos 1 de compostura. Vale. No sé si... A ver... Nada, no sube motricidad, el alcohol, el speed... Nada... Y que... Nada. Vale, vámonos de aquí entonces. ¿Qué es esto de aquí? Esta enorme puerta blindada debe pesar como 10 toneladas. El óxido se descascaría en ella. Esta está chapa, ¿no? Se supone.
You see a small metal door nested inside a larger one. A heavy steel blast door. There is a conventional keyhole above the handle. It's
Igual la
very
puedo abrir
small.
con la palanca que tenemos.
Maybe this is one of the doors we don't open?
Tal vez esta sea una de esas puertas que se quedan sin abrir. El teniente observa la puerta, luego desvía su mirada a la más grande y por último le echa un vistazo a la cerradura.
He's right. It would be better to open its big brother. A powerful engine hangs under the ceiling. It must control the blast door.
Tienes razón, abriremos la grande, ve los controles por algún lado. Veo muy improbable que se dé el caso en el que no acabemos abriéndola.
I think there's a
Abre la
crossroad
puerta
just
blindada.
southeast. Let's look around. Getting the blast door open seems like the best plan.
Vale. Que abra al otro lado.
Another part of the island, probably. The lock looks like it could still be usable.
Ok. Espérate que aquí también hay objetos, ¿eh? Vale, ¿qué es esto? Magnesio y money. Hostia, más magnesio. ¿Por qué no puedo señalar esto? Cliquear aquí. Vamos a ver. Desde aquí arriba. En su día esto fue el soporte de un arma. Cuidado, las escaleras se han desplomado, ok. A ver. Abre la puerta blindada, vale. Aquí van dos cañones gemelos de gran calibre y alcance medio. Aquí está la consola. A ver. La escotilla está atascada. Aquí hay algo. Hostia, más magnesio, loco. Madre mía. ¡Ey! Me ha salido un orbe aquí y ahora no me sale. ¡Qué puñeta! A ver. Nada, no se puede hacer nada aquí. Aparte de la consola, vale. Aquí. Oyes el agua correr muy, muy abajo. Voy a salir por esta puerta a ver primero. A ver a dónde. Iremos a dar a la zona esta del sueño. A la playa de este lado. Espérate que por aquí igual también se puede subir, ¿eh? Una rendija para disparar, no puedes ver dentro. Para arrancar semejante trozo debió tratarse de un impacto directo, vale. A ver si hay algo por aquí. Que no tiene pinta. Ok. Vamos a pasar por aquí. El dolor de pelvis te provoca una mueca de dolor. Después continúas. El interior de la fortaleza. Distingue la consola y la puerta blindada. Aquí hay más cosillas, ¿eh? Lata de combustible LUM, ok. Un mapa de artillería desgastado que muestra coordenadas de la bahía de Revachol. Un viejo botiquín recién abastecido de dronamina. Uf, más de esto.
There's a rain-soaked mattress on a concrete
Colchón
slab,
en el lío del
only half
francotirador.
covered by the crumbling roof. At the head of it, double embrasures, firing slits like two eyes in the wall.
O sea que disparé desde aquí.
This looks like a good place to aim from.
O sea, mira el colchón.
A single-person mattress, modern, civilian use. Brand name, Marjorie. There's a fuel stain on the cover, along with cigarette burns. And an empty can of beans on the ground next to it, filled to the brim with cigarette butts.
Coger una
The
lata.
silhouette of a tobacco picker adorns the paper filter. The brand, Tio Moteri.
Hostia, es verdad. Vi la misma marca de cigarrillos apagados en Finisterra, señalada al oeste.
Could be a coincidence. Or the same person has visited Land's End and here.
¿Quién era el que fumaba de esto? No me acuerdo ya.
I didn't see any signs of smoking inside though. If people live there, they keep it tidy. This here may also be a smoking spot.
O sea, mira el muro.
There's a firing slit in the wall in front of you, like a little window.
Tocar el hormigón.
Quite old and grimy from years without cleaning by anything other than the rain.
Mira a través de la rendija del hormigón.
The springs screech as you lean on the mattress and crane your neck to look out. A small piece of Martinez coastline opens up in the square in front of you, like a tiny landscape painting. 1 kilometer across the water. The ruins look familiar.
A la izquierda.
A towering skyscraper, its top floors shaved off by artillery fire.
Vale, estos son los apartamentos.
Rue de Saint-Gislain.
Y a la derecha vamos a dar con el
33B.
hostal. El hotel.
The
Seguro.
red chimney and collapsed back of the
Mira,
four-story
lo del
tenement
Whirling
in
in
front
Rags.
of the Whirling in Rags, Rue de Saint-Gislain 10, the doomed commercial area.
Y entre ambas,
The box-shaped silhouette of the Whirling
la
in
silueta con
Rags.
forma de caja del
You see a
Whirling
small
Rags.
fleck of white on the rooftop, the upstairs window of Clausia's room, in the rain, reflecting light.
¡Qué hijo de puta!
What does that mean? Do you have line of sight to the window?
Yes.
More than that,
Más que eso. Quien con un par de prismáticos podría ver hasta el interior de la habitación.
A pair of binoculars? Or a scope of a rifle? You'd be prone, lying on a mattress, barrel resting on the embrasure.
Cheek against the cheek rest, hand on the hair trigger, on a calm day like this.
Podría hacerlo yo mismo, sería capaz de efectuar el disparo.
Good. I think we have it, Detective. The origin of the shot. This is the sniper's nest.
Creo que lo tenemos, el punto de origen del disparo. Inspector, este es el nido del francotirador.
Affirmative.
Al fin.
In our defense, nothing pointed here. Many leads pointed elsewhere.
Ok. 10 personas han muerto, se podía haber evitado.
Don't beat yourself
Hostia,
up, officer.
la moral. La
We did
acabamos de
not put
joder.
guns in their hands or get them drunk.
Oh, tenemos 7 para curarnos, vamos a curarnos una. Nosotros no le pusimos las pistolas en las manos, ni los emborrachamos. El teniente mira hacia el norte por encima de la fortificación y añade:
We will make up for it.
Lo compensaremos aquí, lo
I feel
presiento.
it.
Puede que el tirador siga por aquí,
Where?
en esta isla.
He does not answer, just nods. With his back hunched, he looks around once more and says, he feels uncomfortable suddenly.
We should move now.
Vale. A ver, tenemos un puntico de nivel. O bien... Nah, esto lo vamos a dejar así, yo creo. Vamos a subirnos el punto. No voy a interiorizar ninguna idea más, yo creo. No sé si subir... Ya subir las que tenemos bajas lo veo un poco tontería. Vamos a subir lógica. Vale. Esto lo podemos usar luego a lo mejor para la barcucha. Para poder regresar, no sé. ¿Aquí no hay forma de llegar? Sí, ¿no? Por aquí.
A strange feeling looking at the water. Maybe you should just wander off into the sea. Leave it all and walk in. With a bottle in your hand.
Con una botella en la mano.
Always. Perhaps there's someone there, under the water, where it has always been, smelling of tutti frutti and betrayal. Maybe you know it's going to hurt. Yes, cold and still. But love is warm, like the... Yes. No. We're not starting with that. Not now. Not this time. This thought is in the rain mirror of the bay. You see Martinez reflected. Tall edifices of ruins reach into the water, like shimmering towers. And the shacks too. Pine trees and motor lorries. Up islets and posts, like stepping stones, lead into the water in front of you. Go. Step in.
Vale, aquí no se puede llegar, o sea que nada. Vamos a ver aquí. El cabestrante está roto, la corrosión se ha comido lo que quedaba de la cadena, ¿o qué? No hay nada, ¿no? No. Vámonos, entonces. Vamos a ver si podemos abrir la puerta esa. El portón. Aquí en la consola está de aquí.
Green paint flecks off the monoblock aluminium cabinet. There are rows of switches on the front panel, a frequency band, and even a keyboard.
The
Tenemos
console
aquí.
of an anti-computation device. The generator upstairs, with wires coming out, they terminate here.
¿Se podrán abrir la puerta blindada con
I
esto?
think, yes. Let's see. That one. The emergency open.
Presionar luces interior.
The
Oh,
lighting in the
se ha
room
hecho
turns on with a sizzle,
de día.
a dim ambient orange.
Deslizar el
The
dial de
dial
radio.
slides under the glass, dark and silent. Restoring electric power has
Vale.
not breathed life into it.
Abrir.
The blast door opens with a series of clicks. A shaft of light appears, then widens as the light shines in.
Pero seguimos sin balas, ¿eh? O sea, como se líe... Estamos jodidos.
A sudden wave of anxiety makes your skin crawl.
After you.
Después de usted, el teniente hace una demanda hacia la puerta abierta. ¿Qué crees que habrá?
I don't know.
I don't know.
A thin wisp of smoke rises from a charred black fire pit. The wind
Tengo
picks
miedo.
up.
Don't be. I have a gun.
Voy armado.
Harry, this reminds you.
Esto te recuerda que no te quedan más balas. Por cierto, mi arma no tiene
Then
balas.
it's extra good that mine is not.
Menos mal que la mía sí, vale. Estamos sin balas. GG. ¿Qué pasa por aquí, no? Ya me voy a equipar la coraza porque me parece a mí que se va a venir aquí tiroteo o algo. A ver. ¿Dónde está? Ropa. Aquí. La coraza, ok. Vale. Pequeñas flores blancas florecen a tu alrededor. Oh, igual que la flor que había en... Es un bote neumático desinflado, vale. Ahí está, macho. Ahí está. El sniper. ¿Y quién es?
An old man
El
wearing
desertor.
tracksuit trousers leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big
¿Quién
ball
coño
of
es
spit
este?
in his mouth, then spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours. Unclouded by cataracts, his eyesight is sharp.
Es usted el señor del fuego.
The what now? I can't hear you.
Le dijo hace poco a dos niños que apagaran su fuego, dos gemelos.
I may have. All sorts of little rats have come sniffing around, trying to give up the position. Fire guy. Regressive bourgeoisie henchman. Can't even talk like a grown-up.
Veo que conserva la
My
vista.
eyesight? Yes. Helps me see all the shit.
Shit.
A shudder of disgust passes his right side. His left side remains motionless.
¿Cerró usted la puerta blindada?
I did. And you opened it. How? I should have burned that console down.
¿Cómo sabía que iba a venir?
Reactionary rock and roll music. Playing on the water.
Told you we shouldn't play sad FM.
Ah, por haber puesto la música. ¿Tú qué ibas a decir, Kim? No era rock and roll, era Tristón FM. No era racionada, era molona.
The fascists were right about rock and roll. It is degenerate. Hit gyrating mental illness music.
Pero este personaje no ha aparecido en toda la trama del juego. Y me estoy quedando loco como haya sido este el que se cargó al... Después de todas las vueltas que hemos dado, investigado a unos a otros, pensé que me iba como a sorprender de otra manera. Que iba a ser alguno de los que conocíamos.
It's not nice. It's a piece of shit. But it gets the job done. It's a Triangong 446.
A Samaran rifle. How did you get hold of one?
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Sinyao commune. Military aid.
It has stayed true to him. He can still make it sing.
Aún puede hacerlo cantar. La comuna Hissing ya.
You heard me. It's good now. Like chalk wiped from the ball.
Su arma le ha sido fiel, al igual que la mía. Poner la mano sobre el cinturón. Señor, somos policías. He de pedirle que baje el arma para que podamos hablar. Soy policía, no me molesta el arma, pero manténgala quieta y no se mueva.
No.
Hostias. El Kim.
Put it down now, sir.
Or you're gonna blow my brains out before you question me. To hell with it. It's a walking stick anyway. It's out of bullets.
Like an amputated limb in the sand.
Recoger el arma tirada en la arena. ¿Para qué ha estado utilizando el arma? Vamos a recogerla.
His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand. Frame stopped and patched in places
No me fío.
with tape and wire. Still warm from his parched hands. Not the metal. The metal is ice cold. This weapon has been modified several times.
Examinarlo más de cerca.
The rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm, made of walnut. On the butt, you see Vespertine writing, burned into the wood. Triangong, 4.46mm, made in Sinyao.
Tal y como ha dicho, es un triangón fabricado en Xinjiang. Utiliza munición encamisada de 4.4 justo. El tipo y el calibre correctos. El teniente asiente mientras observa el arma. Tal y como ha dicho, es un triangón fabricado en
It
Xinjiang.
doesn't matter if it was made in Shanti. All it has to do is use jacketed ammunition. And it does.
La bala del cuerpo. El rifle ha sido remendado y modificado varias veces.
I wonder how old it is.
The old man does not answer. He just stares in front of him.
Guardar el arma.
The old man keeps following your motion with his gaze. His right arm twitching. Some kind of involuntary response. Something is slightly off with his motorics. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It can be used against him to get a confession. In time.
¿Quién es usted?
My name is Josef Lilianovich Dross, Political Commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol. I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender.
The commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICM? You're a holdover from the...
From the Insular Indian Citizens Militia, the army of the revolution. I was recruited in Jamrock in 07, trained in the École de Contrôle Orient, and consigned to emergency defense duties in 08. I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the commune had fallen. Still armed, and ideologically trained, I wrote a criticism of myself and resumed partisan duties.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
What?
No. I've been on other islands, too. I was an resurrección until they turned it into a spa in 18.
Ah, que era un comunista que estaba aquí después de la guerra.
Nameless sound until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was 22 years ago. 43 years and 10 months.
Eso es lo que llevo yo de vida.
It's too long. It's not how a human being should live. But I couldn't just forget what I saw.
What have you been doing during all this time?
Hiding, fishing, waiting.
Where the afternoon grows late, on Rue de Saint-Ghislain, people walk home. Street lights will soon be lit. Further inland, the streets are alive with workers, men, women, children, street hawks and migrant laborers. The temperature is steady. Alto cumulus clouds form above Precinct 41.
Darme un par de minutos, ahora vengo, gente. Que voy al baño. Ya estoy, gente. Por aquí. ¿Dónde está el disco? El lithium. A ver.
Always waiting. For her to return.
A que ella regresara.
Her who?
Girl child.
La niña revolución.
Revolution. Always.
Me
The
temo que se ha ido.
material base for an uprising has eroded. The working class has betrayed mankind and themselves. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore, however hard I try, whatever I do.
What has he done? Perhaps a confession will lighten the load.
Ok. ¿Qué ha hecho?
Yes, what? To get things going again? Fan the flame?
There is no flame to fan. There is nothing left of the world, of our dreams. I was just 16 years old, 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith. And of courage, too. You could say I misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat and thought Mazovian socioeconomics were fallible. For a second, I doubted the irreducible laws of historic materialism. A second is all it took
¿Para qué?
for reaction to take hold. Petty bourgeois terror. It's in all men.
He does not seemingly react to what you said. Only his right brow moves a little.
And this was when?
May the 13th, 08, 44 years ago. The horizon was black with coalition airships. Their petroleum rose to the sky, and it looked like it formed the clouds, storm clouds. When they started shelling, it was dark magic, the combined might of international capital. All at once, all the greed and terror in the world tore into Revachol. It lifted streets from the ground and turned houses into ghosts. We were in the flak tower.
Ahí no pasa. ¡Ay!
Huddled on the floor. The artillery was 80 kilometers away in Ozon, but I knew the commune would fall. We would all be turned into ash. So I said I was going to the map room.
A terrible shame, still within him. The lobes of his ears are red with it. The shame and smallness of what he became.
No. I climbed the chain link across the water and hid inland, in the bunkers there, like the weakest of the weak. A mouse, frightened at the ordnance all night, and the sound of the rotors in the morning, whirring. Airships. I climbed out into hell. The landing was complete. The chain was submerged. I had to swim back. The fortress was half submerged too, shattered. They'd all drowned in the lower levels or got torn to shreds above. The anti-aircraft gun had malfunctioned. So had I. I left them without ideological direction. It was real.
Some kind of great terror, worse than you've ever seen.
the mask of humanity fall from capital. It has to take it off to kill everyone, everything you love, all the hope and tenderness in the world. It has to take it off just for 1 second, and then you see it, as it strangles and beats your friends to death. The sweetest, most courageous people in the world. That the bourgeois are not human.
De que los burgueses no son humanos. Siempre he sospechado lo mismo.
Now is not the time, Lieutenant Jeffreto.
I had to fight it. I could not stop anymore.
A ver. ¿Qué clase de lugar es este islote?
It's not an island, Dwat. It's a defensive fortification of the commune of Revachol. The congenitally deformed King Philip II built it to restrict access to the Bay of Revachol. We captured it in '02, retrofitted the fort with an AA gun to defend against an airborne landing. Against the whole world.
¿Se refiere al desembarco, la recuperación de Revachol?
Coalition military called it Operation Deathblow. I later found out on the radio they called it Deathblow. You're one of them. Tell me, who speaks like that? We had 50 million people on Caillou alone. You don't know. You haven't seen it. Iblis, the black-eyed angel.
Vale, ¿cómo ha sobrevivido durante todo este tiempo?
How does anyone survive? I steal.
Now hold on there.
Esa es una ley. Podría haberse hecho autónomo, crear el sistema.
Supplies, vegetables, collect rainwater. It's the life of a dog, not a human being.
How is your health, Mr. Dross?
I've been throwing up blood since winter. Red, like beetroot. Been passing it in stool, too.
He does seem frail. Gaunt for his age. More like 75 than 65. Trouble putting on weight could mean cancer.
The RCM can provide medical services. You need to be looked over.
I need to die. You don't have medical facilities. You have guns. That's all they give you. Toy guns.
You also have Druamine.
También tienes druamina, es verdad. Tenemos druamina y otros objetos o piezas. Debe estar sufriendo. Esta situación es seria. Precisa un examen médico que nosotros le podemos proporcionar. ¿Cómo la ha sobrellevado mentalmente hablando?
I have been running out of that stuff.
There's no way he could manage the pain without them. It's safe to say he is addicted to painkillers by now.
Le gusta esta druamina, ¿eh?
It's the little joys. A dark joke. A sunshiny day. Morphine.
Esta situación es seria. Precisa un examen médico que nosotros le podemos proporcionar.
There's nothing to look over. The triage is in, and it's black. Administer morphine.
¿Cómo lo ha sobrellevado mentalmente hablando?
I haven't. I have holes in my brain. Years missing. Others filled with pain. I don't even know what. Inferno? At least you know it. The traders of this city turned the lights back on in the 30s, after the fighting stopped. Ruins, glittering in the dark like a fucking merry-go-round. It's disgusting.
Vale, ¿cómo se ha ocultado todos estos
It was
años?
hard in the Thames. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those.
There were posters, campaign.
We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated. Martinez and Coal City were turned to dust. But Jamrock, Forburg, even Coron, and others too. Some cordons of Revachol was still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. Soon they all went silent.
¿Cómo iba de aquí al continente y viceversa?
At night, I used a dinghy. I only went after dark.
Ah, el que hemos visto antes.
City, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot, the commons too. They'd started snitching.
In the city, you move underground?
From bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. I just... So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Elmer Graves, right? I know.
So you've been there?
Sleeping. Some nights, ammo scrounging on others. Those McGraves were shit, even before they corroded. Some had bullets in the chamber, however.
You feel the dots connecting. Little dots on the map he's walked across.
I don't want to. They're all traitors. Pigs, rabbits, and dogs. Men without ideals are only animals. The propaganda bunker. I used to, but not anymore.
Propaganda bunker?
They stored leaflets there. Broadcasting equipment, too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed themselves.
Qué heavy,
Two
¿no?
young boys. A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. No need to go underground anymore. It's better in the ruins, on the ground.
Otra pregunta, ¿fuma cigarrillos tío
I
Moutiri?
do.
¿Alguna vez los ha fumado en la costa?
They're good. Plenty of tar. I like that boy on the pack, too. Reminds me of the last
O sea,
century.
¿qué es este, en serio? El que se cargó. O sea, no me esperaba que fuera a ser este, tío.
The old man looks across the water at the city, the ruins, the motorways rising above it.
Ha dicho que es... Perdón. Que esta es su rendición incondicional.
You're with the RCM, the coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol.
Ay. Nosotros no somos los perritos falderos de la coalición, tan solo intentamos ayudar a la gente.
You're the RCM. You represent the Moralist International, the enemies of humanity who took this city. I represent their adversary, the Parti Comunista d'Ancelonde. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze them all to a mass grave for trying to free humanity.
A spray of blood from his mouth on the black charcoal in the fire pit.
Entonces usted es un soldado del ejército comunista.
No, I am not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army. Trained in historical materialism, then assigned as a political commissar by the party. These things used to mean something.
He nods slowly. Then another
Se
tremor.
señala, yo también soy comunista.
No, you're not.
Liberasta.
You're a liberast. A liberal and a pederast.
Y un pederasta,
That's
¿qué
what
coño?
most liberals are.
No, soy un liberal, te lo he dicho. Ya soy... Ya, te lo he dicho ya, soy comunista.
Detective, we have not come here to discuss ideology. We have come to ask questions regarding a murder investigation.
The old man spits into the fire pit. He does not say anything more. A jitter passes his lower body. There's definitely something off with his body. Something more than just metabolism or even cancer.
Tengo que hacerle otra pregunta seria.
There's nothing serious in this world. It's a farce.
Compostura, wow, baja. ¿Para qué está utilizando el arma?
I've used it for killing people.
Para matar gente.
Here we go. A trail of blood. The lieutenant smells it too.
Killing people?
It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property. I haven't done that. I've used it to kill people.
Interesting. During or after the war?
There is no after the war. Class war is never over.
So he's continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay. This is it. You can feel it, like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt in a while. But
Hostias.
this is what you live for. This is the shit. The great serotonin jackpot. The solution.
Hemos recuperado moral.
Go in straight. No euphemisms. No. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal.
Vale. Vamos a tirar por manipulación, que es lo más alto que tenemos, yo creo.
What did I just say?
What did I just tell you? Don't drop the ball now.
Sé que quiere contarme, la ha matado a alguien con esta arma en el último par de
I
semanas.
don't want to tell you anything, you
And why did you think that was a good idea? Don't listen to me. I'm wrong all the time.
Utilizó este arma para dar muerte a un coronel de la contratista de seguridad Krenel.
The who now?
He heard you. He just wants to hear you say it again. This is dramatic flair on his part. Right choice. We're in. Do it, sire.
Esta.
Oh, yes. That one.
El del escuadrón fascista de la muerte que se tragó una bala la noche del 4 de marzo.
Did you kill him?
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revachol. I do not collaborate.
Vale, nueva tarea, sacar una confesión al desertor.
A drop of blood in the saliva. Tear into him. Pile it on him. Everything. The gun. The murder weapon is the perfect opener. The scent of blood in the air. But what else? There was something about the tracks. Suddenly, all those tracks are so confusing. Go with something else first.
A ver. Hemos hecho el análisis balístico, señalado hacia la torre. El disparo se produjo desde esta isla. Venga ya, que me estoy olvidando. Ahora un golpe en el lateral de la cabeza.
Wait, here it comes. The goddamn
Las combalarias, las putas
the
combalarias en la
dried
azotea de
maybells on
clases.
Clausia's roof.
Las flores, vale.
There were maybells in the grass when you got here. They're revolutionary symbols from the war. Nowhere else, nowhere in all of Martinez have you seen them this spring. Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Clausia's bedroom. Now they're gonna come up. You got it. Remember, the boot prints were like no modern soul. Maybe don't beat yourself anymore, though. You're not immortal.
A ver, había combalantes detrás de la ventana de la víctima. Mostrarle las flores secas.
Damn Maybells. The whole island is turning white with them. So many this year, too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away.
Este es el único sitio en todo Martínez en el que he visto estas
They
flores.
blossom on the islets before we fertilize them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May before they ruined it.
South, the Bay of Martinez is dotted with little freckles of islets, turning green, with white flowers in white snow.
The coast, too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat feet.
You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret paths? Pinball workshops?
I may.
Ah. Había una joven llamada Class y le suena de algo. Encontré estas flores detrás de su ventana.
Class, yeah.
He repeats the name with care, as if it were at risk of breaking.
With the victim.
Almost, but you need one more. Just one. Or maybe two.
Me preguntaba de qué marca son las zapatillas que calza.
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa. Some shit.
Sunshit.
Show me the soles, please, Mr. Doras.
Fucking imbecile.
The maker is called Sansarique, and the size is 42 to 44. These are not the unusual horizontal patterned soles you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size.
The size fits, but not the sole.
La realidad fácil no espera. Quizás sea más simple que eso. Vamos a tirar porque vamos a llevárnosla.
Sire, he doesn't have to be wearing them right now.
Racking those brains, are you? Desperate to report something back to your masters? They must have really loved that dead fuck.
The lieutenant gives you a quick sideways glance, and the prints were his. You can see it in those eyes. He can't keep them from flickering. Look, the old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silent suddenly, some strange process within him. A gush more. He's gonna crack, but you need a little more.
Vale. Hemos hecho el análisis balístico. Señalar hacia la torre. El disparo se produjo desde esta isla. No necesito su cooperación. Tengo esto. Se ríe.
Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there?
It's a real gun, not like your little musketeer pistols. I've seen you prance around with those, jumping hoops for the liberals. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons? Going against automatic rifles with these toy guns. Of course you got those boys killed.
Damn, he saw you.
Hostias.
He's watched it happen. So he saw you. Okay. So what? Don't let it divert you.
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it?
Pregustar dramáticamente. ¿Crees que tenemos el arma homicida?
4.46 jacketed ammunition, modified for range. We have it. This is it.
Yo lo dictaminaré, tenemos el arma metida. Vale, encuentra el arma del crimen ahora.
This feels good, doesn't it? Tearing things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer.
Murder. You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't.
O sea, sí se lo cargó este. Yo pensaba que me iba a sorprender el juego y iba a ser alguno...
Dripping with
que al final flipa.
Beating us to the ground, moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the
tiene razón el abuelo,
hundreds. Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol.
The lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them, in phase, and I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth. I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death, and that stupid look on his face. And his dick still in her. Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. And so they did.
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
Yes.
And you were looking at them, the victim and a young woman, having sex, through the scope of your rifle that night?
Que subimos ya, a estas alturas ya. Yo qué sé. La verdad que ya me parece una tontería, ¿no? Subir. Pero bueno.
The old man nods.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
The motive. This is where the motive... You can coax it out of him. The lieutenant's preparing the ground.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
I'm always looking.
Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand.
A rifle's scope has the best magnification.
A ver, un segundo. Descubre el motivo. ¿Por qué lo hizo? ¿Por qué? Madre mía, es que no he completado misiones ni nada, ¿eh? Uf, flipa. Madre de Dios.
Helps him see all the shit.
And if you don't like it?
Click.
Then you pull the trigger?
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
You got him going. Connect every little piece now.
Y envuélvelo para regalo.
Like a gift. Start with when he first saw him. It will give him a chance to ramble.
"3 weeks ago, when the rich hag came in on her galley. Her honor guard came in tow. Wrinkled up whore. Yes, old-fashioned. They moved into a deserted apartment above the roundabout. Radio equipment out for all to see. Reactionary radio playing, sloppy and drunk. I've seen their kind during the landing. Those Occidental and masked phalangs weren't conscripts. Boys like us, herding the strike breakers like that. I kept an eye on them.
Oh, legendaria, ni de coña, 17%.
Them fucking. I didn't like that. Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself, drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman, and I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth.
Qué bestia.
I wanted his brains to spill out on her.
El hombre.
This man has seen past her, like you did. And now he longs to see her, to punish her.
Since she came to Martinez, I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Fell building.
Claro, cuando estaba guardando los papeles.
Still winter.
Los
She
el
didn't have
pasaporte
her
de la
skimpy
chica.
outfit
La
on
chica.
then, just a spot in the night.
Past the Fell building on the coast.
Hiding something
Míralo.
in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see.
And beautiful.
Her passport and ticket to Villiers. And from there to Cachet Bru. After she was gone.
Did you keep the documents in it?
No, I put them back. Why would I take them? I'm not going to found. Oh, I mean... in the water. Behind the campsite there. I don't remember precisely. It was in the winter. It was cold out. I did. She had a face like an archipelago with those birthmarks. And a body hard and lean and bruised all over. Black and yellow. I
Hostia.
could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was, too. A spook. On the run. Revachol's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
You could tell she was a spook from the documents?
She had different color hair on the photo and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair.
He's setting it up for you. The bruises. You can't make that out in a scope.
You can't see bruises through a scope. It's just a blur.
¿Cuánto tiempo la estuvo espiando? Vale, esta la sacamos. Más huellas en el polvo. Podría haber cambiado de calzado, encontrar el agujero de la pared. Vamos a tirar de esto.
It quickly comes to you.
Oh, yes. Cutting those drugs of hers into little lines with a knife. Masturbating.
Everything in him fills with impossible longing.
Did you make that hole?
With a clip-point knife.
Good for listening in, too. For hearing the moaning and the snorts.
Like that, too. Yes. Bending like a bow against the glass. I've been through all of Martinez. Every nook and cranny. Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works. You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but...
You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant.
How did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen.
Hijo de puta, o sea que se estaba paseando por toda la ciudad.
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen? How?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope. She practically breastfed that man. You wouldn't believe the things she let him do to her. The world is insane. There's nothing to hold on to. Only this.
The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly, like stones dripping with water. Is he crying?
Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there. It's
Ha habido
weakness,
otras.
I know.
Os dejo las flores secas bajo su ventana.
No. I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of our room on the floor, like she does sometimes. The day after I killed him. Yes, I don't know why I do the things I do anymore. Maybe, I told you, I have holes in my brain now. I wouldn't just sit here waiting for
O sea, no me
you.
esperaba nada de esto, tío. O sea, no me ha sorprendido en el sentido de que no ha sido un NPC y que hayas estado investigando durante el juego durante casi las 60 horas que ha durado más o menos. Pero este pibe que ha salido de la nada ahora y resulta que ha sido él.
A sudden pang of rage.
If you came 10 years ago, I would have killed you.
In the silence, the lieutenant draws a line in his notes, then nods at you once more.
Así que en resumen no fue por él, fue por ella.
Her.
The lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement.
Otro punto de... No sé ya si ya es el final. No tiene sentido, ¿no? Empatía. Por ejemplo.
Where is she, that Clasier? I haven't seen her there for days.
Se escapó no sin antes guiarnos hasta aquí. Supo dilucidar que alguien la observaba desde la fortaleza. La arrestamos, mentir.
Gone. I knew it. She kept staring into the scope this last week, at the island, like she knew. She'd look, at night, crying or smoking on the roof, staring right into me. It doesn't matter.
Midtown, across the Bay of Revachol, cold rain falls on 40-story towers. Above them, Lausanne Central Aerodrome, a cocoon suspended in the grey sky by a web of suspension. On the platform, a young woman is withdrawing from amphetamines, barbiturates, and alcohol. Yet still, she smiles among the crowd, among the great ghost of the city she's leaving, for another, far south, smaller, distant, hidden, Not like the great chandelier she sees sparkle in the night below her. Street lights, towers, tenements and water.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
Who knows what he's seen and done over the years? You could get more out of him. Enough. Take him in. Bend his arms behind his back and end this.
¿Ha visto algo más que no le haya gustado?
Tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers.
Detest pushes the cobwebs out of his eyes. Pushes the melancholy aside. He relishes it.
Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house. Stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez is the worst. Because of the racists, everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world. Listening to race-themed radio shows. In the ruins, in their lorries.
Es como la sociedad de hoy en día.
Pump full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this,
Que da
race
asco, tío.
that. It's all sanctioned by that Social Democratic Union and the FARC. Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer, on the town square. Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. Intense, like animals, like those boom-boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs. The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead. So, actually, no. The worst is that old cock parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too. Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon, or Coyamorang, or some other island they built their palaces on. That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt, Frisell, is now dead. We did good when we pushed him under the horse car. Until, in the 30s, those disco whores.
The disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brains. What was that about? Steroids? It piqued your interest.
Yes, steroids. A racist on steroids. What is my opinion? You think the rich man has an opinion on this idiot? No. The rich man's looking at real estate and fiddling his kids, wading through the corpses. You moralist types are all crypto-fascists, eternally fascinated with lurid race topics, helping the ruling class conduct their swindle, keeping the inane conversation going. The rich man doesn't care about complexion. He rules the world, and he laughs at your moral soliloquies. Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the real enemy. The true enemy of the proletariat. That deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass. I mean, the brains of the operation.
Edgar.
He talks a big game about uprising and social base.
He's been sweet-talked by this Edgar. They must have met in person for such animosity to have developed.
Hostias.
You can't live alone.
The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing.
Of course. Maybe the Clears asked him to. Don't go straight for the kill. Exhaust everything else first. Soften him up.
I haven't approached anyone. I hid. It was Edgar who came to me.
How did he know you were here?
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you. Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. Thought he was a man of the... I was right about one of those things. 20 years ago. Neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then.
That's around the time the Clears came to power.
Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform. Offered platitudes about never trust a social democrat who quotes Marzoff. Oh, and charity too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooked. Let me be here. The ZOC is an unlawful successor of the Commune of Revachol.
O sea, que fue el hermano, tío, del otro.
From the loyalists. Even the Clares understand this. You know why I killed that fucker, Dwat. As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine.
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways.
¿Cuál era el trato entre Edgar y el 58%?
Horse.
Pero el gallo del Fernando...
Every fucking morning for 34 years. Throwing that ball. One ball against the other. I've always loathed that game. Royalist ghouls played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot plumage. I won't even mention that he's a traitor to his race. A petanque maniac race traitor. What is there to be agitated about? The unholy ghoul. I love it there. It reminds me of everything we fought for. At least we killed Dafistel and his kingsman.
Uf, no sé si lo vamos a sacar, ¿eh?
The connection comes to
de coña.
you like a splash of cold water. Dark, cold water.
Hey.
He acknowledges it. Here we go. A twist behind the dark bend.
Verás.
That bourgeois cow. Tiffin Holly was her name. Licked the rich man's hand every time he came to town. Never seen a labor leader so hot on mutual cooperation. And money. She liked that too. That Holly was a real bridge builder and a deal maker.
Bordering on sentimentality, it drips out of him, tempered by something familiar to you.
She was. And she was real soft on those money men. Had a Barbara Muskova bag over her shoulder that she liked to bring to work. Called in, they say, on the eve of battle. Ran away. Vanished like a piss stain.
No, that's not quite it, is it?
Did she? They say her daughter called in, not her personally. But that wasn't really her daughter, was it?
No, I guess it was not. She couldn't make the call herself.
Here it is, the bend in the river.
Because she was dead. Because the cow caught a bullet in her right lung. Fell into the canal, grasping her tit and drowned. Or bled. She was going home, waddling, dressed in yellow, drunk like she often was. The ruins are black around her. Heading home to Grand Couronne or Betancourt, someplace like that, where they build those new bâtiments for the people who flourish in the hell around her. And the ruins. Huh. It was someone. Someone shot her.
Me estoy quedando loco ahora.
Or maybe she just fell. I get these violent ideations. My memory is filled with holes, especially the third.
Another big spike of rage, different from the one he has for...
Nothing changed. Not in the material base, not in the hegemony. There was no uprising. Just words. The Union fizzled, sogged. Nothing came of it.
Edgar didn't keep his part of the deal.
Huh.
If you were to testify to this, give the RCM something on Edgar, you could walk. We would strike everything you've done and process you as a POW. You were in a war. You were on assignment. We could even extradite you to the Samaran People's Republic.
A degenerate worker state. Goat shit. No, thank you. I'm Revacholian. My days are short.
Come on, just a little. You're buddies.
No sé qué por dónde tirar. Puede contárselo a un camarada, no será tan relevante.
I haven't lived and fought for 40 years to end up as a collaborationist. I've heard everyone is a blobber in this world.
Tarea secreta completada.
Everyone. They're all already locked up for betrayal. The best ones, the ones with heart, were slaughtered, trampled. Glad? It's all gone.
A ver, Joseph, que detener por el asesinato de Liz Corner. Quiero volver a preguntarle sobre la gente que no le gusta. Nada, esto ya está. Es que la de compostura no lo vamos a sacar. Esto es todo por ahora, quédese donde está.
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
The wind picks up. The silence on the water is broken all around you. Little shivers of waves appear.
Your wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week. And do you understand?
But... No, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
He's sweating. Beads are forming on his forehead. Pupils are dilated too. Eyes getting blacker and blacker.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
Antes de decir cabemos los tres. Percepción oído, legendaria 14. Espera. Aquí va a pasar algo. Superala. Oh, la hemos fallado.
But it's just the reeds.
Maybe we could all fit in there. Not really. We could escort him to the pier, then either one of us can take him inland while the other stays.
But then, who watches him while you're coming back here?
¿Quién lo vigilará mientras vuelva por ti?
You come back for me? How about I go and send a boat back for you?
What is this farce? This is a fucking farce.
Lillian. You could ask her, maybe.
Vale. No, no jodas, pero se la carga.
Actually, no. This is no harmless old man.
This fucking world. This world. What is this?
No, listen. Listen now.
Podrías volver a por mí cuando lo hayas dejado en la comisaría del distrito. Podría volver a por ti cuando lo haya dejado en la comisaría del distrito. Podrías volver a por mí.
No, no. It would take a whole day on this island. You go and transport the prisoner. I'll be here. I can escort him to the pier with you.
Okay.
This world. What are you talking about? Is this?
The wind is cold from the east. Your skin is crawling suddenly.
Uf, algo va a pasar. What the fuck?
A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by
El
limb.
bicho ese, ¿en serio?
Just stand there, moving its scythe-like arms in ghostly silence.
What are you talking about? There's nothing there.
The stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head. You feel your legs shaking under you and your gun hand move to your holster to grab the gun. You feel the lieutenant's hand on your back.
I can see it.
Ah, que lo está viendo, menos mal.
Thank God. If he can see, then you're not insane. But that means it's really there, spinning slowly, in absolute silence. Its limbs long and slim.
Be very, very careful.
Really, loco.
It's clear you like the hard stuff, Brota. Lower intestine. The term is metabolic and circulatory system. Fascism, Brota. You're going to keep your views, right? Keep your views, Brota. For the nation, smart. Best not to mention the woman issue too often. People are not ready.
Vale, pero acabamos de pillar una idea. Esto no se acaba todavía, loco. Hostias.
Of course you are, Bruta. Of course.
What the fuck? ¿Cuál ha salido? Nación rebacholiana, -1 de compostura. Y yo gastando puntos ahí a lo tonto, pensando que se acababa esto. Holy shit. Claro, porque ahora habrá que incriminar a Lebrat. Al de la... Al del puerto. What the fuck. Hostia, 70 pavos el rifle, ¿eh? Uf, pues nada, lo voy a dejar por aquí hoy, gente. Porque esto va... sigue yendo para largo. Me cago en ti, yo pensaba que lo acabábamos hoy. Ni de Blas, pensaba que al llegar aquí ya... O sea, claro, ahora habrá que el rollo este del Fásmido y luego lo del tema de Lebrat, de incriminarle a él. Y toda la leche. O sea, que va para rato. Todavía. Por lo menos 3 orillas o por ahí, seguro. Así que nada, lo vamos a dejar por aquí. Pero bueno, no lo hemos acabado, pero le hemos metido caña. Es que la conversación con el francotirador, con el asesino, se ha llevado 1 hora, casi. Holy shit. Holy shit. Así que nada, por aquí lo dejo, gente. Y nada, muchas gracias a los que hayáis pasado, habéis estado por ahí en modo lure. Y a ver si nos podemos ver mañana. Un abrazaco y un poquito más. Muchas thank yous a todos. A ver si os puedo dejar con alguien por ahí que estoy haciendo directo.
What a thrill with darkness and silence through the night.
A ver.
I'm searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. I give my life.
Pues no tengo a nadie, así que nada, gente. Nos vemos mañana. Muchas gracias a todos. Chao, chao.
In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I fly to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. Someday you go through the rain, and someday you'll feed on a tree frog. It's ordeal, the trial to survive for the day.